through no fault of his own. He's had a real bad start to his pro career, having been promised 4 fights, never actually making any of them.
Fabio was upstairs, ready, wrapped up, he waited and everything, and his opponent didn't tell the promotion that he wasn't turning up, he was unwell.
The whole journey started at the beginning of last year, and then I went through it, and then it got cancelled, and I went through it and it got cancelled. I had 3 scheduled in London. 1 I got to London and then wasn't able to fight on the night, which means I travelled a bunch of people travelled to London to take their own time to come there and come watch me fight, and they didn't get to see it, unfortunately. And that happened again a couple of weeks back for Norwich, with an opponent pulling out on the night, and there was just, there's nothing you can do about those things, but the support from people to just keep coming is unreal in that sense, and is really quite touching in the fact that they want to see me do well and want to see me get somewhere. 2 were initially because of asthma and my licensing, and then the next 2 were due to opponent pullouts on medical grounds.
Truthfully, I was starting to get annoyed for him. I was, but he curbs all of that in me. It is what it is. He's like this all the time, and he's always been that way.
He was very stubborn, very strong-minded. He stuck to what he wanted to do, and he didn't give up and he didn't quit.
He never not fulfills something. If he says he's going to do something, he will do it.
It's not really that hard, it's good, Yeah? Maybe add some push-ups and set up your fitness.
Boxing's a very long-winded game in the sense that a lot of people start from very young and have X amount of amateur and ABA fights, and then they feel they're ready. So for me, it's been a bit of a whirlwind, and I've kind of jumped there. I judge it from when I first came into the gym, and I was sparring with all the guys that are around here now, and they were sending me around the ring. They absolutely handed me to myself, and you just see yourself slowly progress and pick yourself up, and next thing you know, you're holding your own, and then next thing you know, you're doing a bit better, and then it's you sending them around the ring.
Well, I knew Fabio as a child through Positive Futures. He used to come and play football, very talented footballer, and he was come down to the gym a couple of years ago, and he just come to start training.
My first show was obviously a GFP show. Felt good, but it was quite nervy. Like, I'd never tell anyone. Everyone that asked me, I was like, no, I'm fine. Can't wait. Yeah, about 10 seconds before the bell's about to go. That's kind of when it kicks in. You're like, shit, hang on, I'm about to have a fight here. Everything kind of disappears. You can't hear the crowd. You don't feel anything. You're just acting. You're just doing. No type of thrill that I've had as of yet that you get from having your hand raised at the end of the fight like that.
He was meant to fight another guy, and the other guy saw Fabio and changed his approach. Said, "I'm not fighting him," you know. And he said he looks like he's had loads of fights before, which wasn't true. He was a complete novice.
That was my first look, and I was more like, "Oh wow, he's got a little bit of awesomeness about him." I'm not a nervy mum. I'm not, I'm not all sitting there biting my teeth and can't look. That's my voice you'll hear. If anything else, that'll be my voice you'll hear. I will support him always, right behind him.
My third fight was my hardest. And probably because it went into the second round where all my others didn't go out the first. And but that was purely just adjusting, really. It was getting someone who had quite an extensive ABA background, hadn't been boxing for a few years anyway, but was nonetheless still quite decent.
First round was pretty tricky, you know, like the guy come out with everything, you know, he sat down in the corner, Fabio turned and went, don't worry, I'll stop in the next round.
That's your version of job.
Like I said, in the early years of my life, it was just me and her. It was just a single mum raising a big lad like me. So we did everything together, and even still now, we're as close as then. She has absolutely no flaws whatsoever.
Don't do it, don't do it. Always full of energy, always. He's been on his legs, he's been on his pins since he was 7 months old, and that's him all over with.
That was after my second white collar fight. I got a call from Rob first, my trainer, to say, Matt's going to call you and he's got some big news for you. I was like, alright, whatever. I thought he was messing around. And then Matt calls me. I was like, I've had a call from someone and they want to sign you on a pro contract. I was like, I'll give it a rest, mate. It's a Sunday night, I've got work in the morning, like, I can't bother with your little games and that. And they were like, no, seriously, I'm being serious. We met then and then went from there, really.
We were going to have him a couple of fights on the white collar and go through the amateur stage as well, but you know, luck we have it that he got spotted and someone said he can turn pro after such a short time. It took us long to get his license and go through stuff with the doctors, then we finally got it done. Then opponents pulled out, opponents never turned up. We got to one stage at York Hall where he had his hands wrapped to go into the ring and he didn't have a fight as well. You know, there was a lot of red tape to go through. You know, at one point I didn't think we was ever going to get a fight.
Not power, speed. Fabio, 119, good. That's what you do, run, sit. Things you can do at home you don't need me for. Run, sit ups, push ups. Before you go to bed, bang those fucking push ups out.
I spar with mainly Sam Sexton up in Norwich. They're absolutely brilliant to spar with. They've always been welcome. Sparring's there to learn, for you to practice things and do different things and work on things with the person that's in front of you, and you're there to help them and they're there to help you.
You know, the sparring with Sam has been second to none and we can't stop learning from him. We sparred other heavyweights that are in the top 15 and he's held his own, or even sometimes, you know, excelled some of them.
In my own gym down here, there's no one my size anyways. There's no proper heavyweights here. The sparring down here is very light, but it's very technical and it's very speed based. One of my main attributes is my speed, and I get to work on that a lot with the guys here.
People wanted him to fight at lower weight, but once again, very confident, very headstrong. He's bulked on the weight, but he moves. Heavyweight division is very slow. He's on his toes, he'll make you miss. He's like a exciting, fast heavyweight who moves like a middleweight.
I will move and I will duck and dive and dodge and roll around all over the place. So I'm not gonna stand there and be a still target for you to hit like a lot of heavyweights are nowadays.
He wanted to do boxing when he was little, and it was me. I wouldn't let him. I believed that he should grow some, develop his body a little bit more, have a little bit of strength for such a sport that would depend on him solely. as opposed to football where it's teamwork. And I always said to him, you know, if you say still that you want to do it when you're older and what have you, I'll support you. And he did.
Yes, he's definitely turning up this time. I'm not saying nothing. I'm so scared. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 3, 2.
Well, the current heavyweight division is, obviously Joshua is the main man at the moment. There's a lot of good British heavyweights. Our ideal is to be, in the next 2 years, to be in the top 10. And obviously if we keep carrying the way we're doing, he trains hard, we one day try and get a Southern area title. It's up to him, really. It's all down on him. He's a prospect. Everyone looks at a heavyweight and they say, is he as good as him or is he as good as him? They're comparing him to the heavyweight where they are now. But then you've got to look at their career before they got to where they were, and he has all the tools. He has the right attitude, the clean living to go to the top. That's where we want to be. If we don't aim high, then what's the point?
I'm very realistic and very patient about it all, but there's an end goal and I want a belt around my waist. Between me, my team, the guys from the gym, promoters and things, we're going to plan a journey that gets us to that point.
Remember, you're quick. These heavyweights ain't quick. You've got to do this is good for him because he's a quick. What people don't realise is that Muhammad Ali was sparring with. Muhammad Ali used to spar with Thomas Hearns. There was a middleweight, yeah, and he worked on him and Thomas Hearns was landing. And the reason he was landing is Muhammad Ali wanted to see if he still had his speed, and it's good to work with. Fabio, you're going to be doing forward, forward me. A nice line when we're done. Easy, a bit of shadow on when we're done. Yeah, let's have that shoulder. He doesn't throw concussive, he throws pushies. Okay, so pushies like that. Like that. Do it yourself, show me how you do it yourself. You don't go like this. He goes like this. He pushes trying to get on the ropes, isn't he? Like this.
But I always say it's quite a bit that I've got quite a good supporter base from not even having a fight as of yet, so I can't wait till I actually do have a fight and then build up a bit more from that.
One of the things I've loved the most is how even when the fights have been cancelled, the force is still just as strong and the support is still just as strong, and I think he needs that, especially when that was happening, just so that if you did have that little moment on the lull that I'm not so sure, he had that, he knew he had that backup.
Everyone's been really good in the sense that they've just been there for me, especially when in the early stages I was getting really annoyed with not fighting and having cancelled fights and things. Everyone's just been like, look, it will happen, and when it does, it's all going to be worth it.
Go, boys.
10 seconds, Colin.